what's up, everybody? We are live on our first episode of Visual Street Society's Creators Joint, and on this, longer version of this, which will go into the digital magazine, we're going to be breaking down and reviewing current companies' branding, and we're going to start off with a brand that we know well, Kacha Plumbing, out of the 650, and between Jackie Espejo and myself, we've done probably 90% of their stuff, and whenever they need stuff, they call us, or every now and then we create templates for them, or certain videos, and I think they're at a point where they're going to be refreshing it up because they are adding home services. Jackie, welcome. Tell us a little bit about your background and why are you the baddest designer on the planet?
Thank you, Alonzo. What's up, everyone? My name is Jackie Espejo. I am a graphic and brand designer. I have been doing my thing for over 10 years now. I would say I've been a creative since I was a kid. Literally, probably since the first time I picked up a crayon. I didn't think about pursuing design until my senior year of high school when it came down to applying for colleges. So I didn't even know there was a thing called graphic design. So yeah.
For right context, I want for context, and I don't want to blow up your age, but you were born somewhere around you're 90s. You were born in the 90s. But you got the old school vibe in you because you've been playing with graphic design ever since Apple. Was it Paint?
Oh yeah, it was Microsoft Paint.
Microsoft Paint, excuse me, way before Apple.
Yeah.
How did you get your hands on that program?
Well, I mean, my dad, he brought in our first desktop computer, Windows 95, I believe. And I think I was about age 5. And I was just I would watch my older siblings play on the computer, and then my cousins play on the computer. And this was also the early days of AIM and the webcam days. So they would be chatting, of course I was way too young to even understand what was going on, but one of the things that I would watch my older brother and my older sister do is play around on Microsoft Paint. And when I was home alone while they were in school, and my dad would be sleeping because he would work the night shifts, I would literally have to entertain myself. So what I would do is get on the computer, when I would get bored with my crayons and paper and pencils and stuff. So got in there and I just kind of dove into Microsoft Paint and tried to replicate what they would do, make yellow suns with the sun rays, and then tents, camping tents. And when my sister would come home from school, I would take her homework, maybe a one sheet paper of math, maybe addition equations, and I would literally type down 2 + 2 and then the line. And I would just replicate the homework. And I didn't realize at that time, I was I literally redesigning her homework papers. So yeah, that was my first start at design, really.
When did you first realize that you were a visual learner and that you enjoyed kind of putting yourself out there that way, that you could maybe not for others but for yourself? It's because it's a form of journalism, right? Mm-hmm. Or journaling and being creative and having an outlet.
Man, I think I would have to give the credit to school. Me being the youngest and having the pressure to really perform my best in my schoolwork. I think I took advantage of all the projects that had to do with something creative, an activity, whether it was drawing or painting. I think more of it developed in high school, when I finally had my own like little laptop to work with, and there was these projects that oh man, oh, Chris is coming home. Shit. I'm recording. Shoot.
All good. What's her name?
Lonnie.
Lonnie, that's right.
Yes.
How old is she now?
She's like 12 now.
Wow. God. That's like almost 12. I've known you, let's fast forward. We met through we were working on a project for baby Chris, and I needed a new logo. So it was at the same time. I don't know which one was first, but we met through Fish, my cousin, and Chris and Fish had a class at CSM for music producing, correct? Engineering.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys saw and were part of my very first studio. It was 300 square feet, part of a big warehouse, and even then I knew where I wanted to go, and fast forward 10 years, we're still at it. How?
Yep.
Real quick, what have you learned in the last 10 years, and what have we learned together? Working on the projects that we've worked on.
What have I learned in the last 10 years is definitely to keep going. Definitely keep going, and life is going to happen regardless. It's how you adjust. And one of the biggest things that I really learned is that the goal doesn't change, but the journey does. How you get to that goal, things are gonna happen along the way, and you may get off. I think you even taught me this too, where you have to sometimes you have to get off the train and then they can come back on, and you're still going towards that destination. Yeah,
it's like Bart. It's like train or Bart. and this is the thing: we can all get off and enjoy and experience and learn new things and come back on the train where we want to. And the reality is, the more you get off the train, the more experience you get, but the longer it's going to take you to get through your goals. And maybe you can jump on another train for a while, it's fine. But, if you stay on the train and you know where you're going, and you get off less distractions, and you can have some success a little bit faster.
Yeah, exactly. And even when you're on the train already on your, going to your destination, sometimes there's something happens on the tracks, ahead of time. Sometimes the lights go out. Sometimes you're stuck in the tunnel. Yeah. But what do you do in those moments?
That's completely out of your control. And I think exactly. What's kept me going is focus on the things that you can control, the things that you can get better at every day. Adjust, and reflect and just put your head down. I know you have that in you where you can just put your head down and work and focus. And we just need that. We need to day trade attention. Gary Vaynerchuk always said that, and that stuck with me, is day trade attention, because if you try to do everything every day, it's never going to be great. And so you have to, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I do this. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do this. The weekend, I kind of, whether it's, a show or you do, you have to have some time of reflection and some time to, decompress, right?
Exactly. Because you need that.
So we, Kacha Plumbing was a client of mine. They've been clients of mine for 7-8 years now, off and on. And, we have done almost all their videos. I think AAA, or I forget who, but they did a video that was pretty funny. It was terrible, really, but they were trying their best. And these guys were actually on TV. They were on HGTV on a show about home services, and they were like the plumbers. So they had that on their side of their trucks. And I think
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were on a show, and I think they got especially Gino got the bug. I'm like, hey, I don't think it was a self thing where I want to be famous, but it was man, we can bring in some business this way because we're exposed to a larger audience. So they saw what being on TV or being on camera could do for their company. Tell me, so that being said, we've done the videos and I'll be able to link those up and now because we've been working with them for so long, we did their family, story a little bit. I wanted to dive even deeper into it, but we did a good job of origin stories and kind of talked a little bit about the dad and where the brothers are today. And but branding, Gino's probably rebranded 3 times now since the beginning, and I'm sure that was hard the first time because he took what his dad built, and then he had to build on that. But then the second time was when you came in, and we had that project together because we were, working on different ends of it. Tell me about what you have done to refresh in that brand and still hold the true values that the company had for so long. Like,
So I
what
could
was the first
screen
thing?
share
Was it
now.
was it logo? Was the logo the first thing?
The logo was definitely the first thing that he wanted to tackle. And let's see, I can screen record now. Or share screen. Oops. Share screen, share screen. Why am I not seeing it?
Let me make sure that it's available. So, let's see. Show captions, breakout rooms, reactions, whiteboards. Share screen, advanced sharing screen, one participant at a time, which is fine. Host only, all participants. What can we share screen over somewhere? Okay. Try that. Let's see if it'll share it.
Okay. Cool. Okay, and then so on post, I think you could just crop my screen because I need my whole screen to look at this.
It looks good. You can make it, if you want, you can make it bigger, but it looks good right there, and we're still on the side. So this is the
Okay.
old logo, and it said JCP on the side. It was like their icon, and then the written out, James Kacha was the father, and incorporated was something that a lot of companies did because they needed to let people know that they weren't just doing business as, or they weren't just sole proprietors. It was like a corporation. And I don't know if I was like by law or like, I don't think you need to do that anymore, right?
Yeah, I'm not too quite sure, but I remember my first conversation with Gino. He was really adamant about not having like a full, like drastic change on the logo. He wanted to kind of keep the idea of like having the name Kacha Plumbing as prominent as possible. And the key thing that he wanted was to kind of replicate like the feel of like the old times of like the carving of the letters. He wanted to kind of like keep that like a Roman carving because like Kacha they're Italian, so
Right.
he really wanted like having like a carved look but still modern in a way. So that told me first of all like, okay, stick with the serif font. And yeah, so like I did go into another type of concept in the first phases of the process, just to kind of like have something to compare to. So these were the first 3 concepts that we kind of like sat down and looked at together. And
Oh yeah, I remember that drip. See, the first 2 on the left were the first ones, and this one on the right was kind of like, I remember that because it was way on the left. It's just a closed out rectangle, and on the right, the biggest difference, other than just kind of a little bit of the lettering, it was just the open flow, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, the first one I was trying to like replicate like a patch like from their jackets. I think it was a little too plain for Gino. And then the second one, I like, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty proud of, because I was like, oh, it's like plumbing, it's water, really
The
like
drip.
and then he was like, no, like it was he was just like straight up, no, I want to avoid this cliche of using a water or anything like water drip. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, you know what? That's true. You guys have been in business for so long. Like, you don't like I don't want to like pigeonhole them into like that look just because they're plumbers.
Yeah.
And it's right again like going back to like what the scope of the project was to keep it clean, keep it fresh, modernize the current logo. So the one on the right, the third one, that was what he wanted to move forward with, and from there, I made some tweaks, and I think the one of the last steps was to like pick the word mark, typography that would fit best, and this was the phase right before we finalized it. So honestly, none of these actually made the final cut.
Because the font is different, right?
Yes, the font was different. None of these made the final cut. I think it was very last minute where he was like, "Hey, I want the word plumbing to also be in the same style," because like I was trying to combine that carved look
Right.
with like a modern font. I wanted to balance both of them, but he definitely wanted to keep that frame that I have around the word mark, but still keep the fonts the same. So I ended up using this font called Bentham, I think that's how you say it, and then adding the tagline, the "Trusted for Generations" underneath, as of like the foundation of the logo. So
well, I mean, it came out
later,
super clean, and you can read it, and it's, the Kacha name is dominant. You can see that it's plumbing. The airflow is clean. It looks like it's a company that's been around for 50 years, right? Like it's like, and then the Trusted for Generations is cool because not only it's him, but also his brother, right? And then the next generation, it's been a family business for a long time. Mom, sister, the kids are always around, and not only with them, but their employees. There's been multiple generations of employees that currently work there and have worked there in the past. That kind of, some of them went on and started their own thing. So the family aspect really, really comes alive with Kacha. I wanted to go through all of the branding that you've done with them, but I think now for time, I think that this is the start. This is the logo and what you did, and what they decided to go with, and this is their current logo. They are now doing home services, adding HVAC and adding electrical work, so it won't just be plumbing. So they're going through a new phase, but they've had this since 2017. They have it on the side of their trucks. They have it on their shirts. They have it stickers everywhere. They have refrigerator stickers. They have it on the freeway. They have it on their building, inside and out. Like, how does that make you feel as a designer?
That was a great feeling. And like me coming out of design school and like having done all these like concept projects, where like we built a brand, like a fake brand, and mocked it up on all these crazy deliverables that weren't real. Like this was like the reality of like all these projects that I had done in college. And I could push a little time because like I do want to like kind of like at least share like the visuals, because like it did come to life like after nailing down like the brand identity. Like that's where it started. Like how this project became so successful is because like Gino had a game plan already. Like he knew what he wanted, and of course he had been in business, his family has been in business for so long that like he was already immersed into the mission, the values, and like the vision of like he definitely had a vision of like what he wanted to carry on. And I think like a key word that he was trying to convey was like legacy, generation, trusted for generations. So having a like a strong brand identity that wasn't too much into that time or what was trending at that time would have like really pigeonhole Kasha as a brand. So
Let's see.
keeping
Let's see.
it clean.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see what else you got. So this is something that a lot of companies don't have, and they don't have a style guide for a video producer, for a printer, for a designer. It's huge. If they give me these, I know what their branding is. I know what their colors are. I know what their taglines are. I know what fonts to use. Like it is incredible, an incredible tool to have, and
Exactly.
I can't say that enough.
Yeah, it's such a time and lifesaver, because like when you start outsourcing and working with other different medias, whether it's video design, sound, photographers, like they need like we, in order for us to achieve and execute like the overall look and feel, like we need to like understand the guidelines first. Like we can't just like make it up for you. Like if you have an existing brand that has like already life breathing, like we need to understand first like what we need to follow. And like having a style guide is like literally like a good guideline slash like a bible, you know, for
It's
what
a Bible.
for what you need
It's
to
a
follow.
it's a
Exactly.
Bible, and every company should know their mission. Everybody should be able to say, and I learned this at a group that I was a part of, Bang. You should be able to explain or say what you do within 30 seconds. If it takes you longer than 30 seconds, what your business is, who your target audience is, and why you love it. If you can't answer that in 30 seconds, it's too complicated. So go back and just write it down, your mission statement, and that's how people will know exactly what, how you can help them. Because it really is, working with businesses is different than working with like, musicians or rappers or, somebody else, or for a wedding, for example. Nice. So we're seeing some other pictures where they have the logos, their trucks,
Yeah.
their systems. They have it huge in their offices.
Yeah, they took the branding, then the style guide, and they, like, what I like to say, they took it as a seed, and like they built a jungle out of it. Like they, like, from the stickers that they leave, after they
Yep.
do their work, from the office to the trucks. So like they applied it everywhere. And then we did the website. They made coupons. Well, I did those coupons, but I helped with the coupons on the website, and it went on to like the advertising of it. And I think that became more of the fun part, because now it's like the seeds were planted. Now it's time to like really show and like blossom,
Right.
what the brand can do. So we went on to like ads on the shopping carts, Angie's List, or it's Angie now, but Angie's List. And then we collaborated on a golden ticket where Gino would leave this golden plaque card on, I believe, other plumbers' vehicles as a way of like recruitment.
Yep. I actually still have one of these.
Oh, I actually do too. Oh man, I should have, I should have showed it. But like, yeah, that was fun. Like having a stakeholder, like working with a stakeholder of a company that has like a creative vision. No matter how crazy the idea seems at first, like they were fun to explore. So these marketing projects were very new for me. I never done a golden ticket or like an actual ad that would go on to a shopping cart. So these were like great experiences for me.
So let's. What would you say the top 5 items or part of a branding that could really help an existing company that's been around? They have, it's been word of mouth, they multi-generational, they are great at what they do, but something supplemental that can refresh in their brand and do this for them where they can put it everywhere.
I would say, I think the 5 things I'm about to mention, I think they all overlap with each other, and they actually don't even have an order, because I think it depends on like what
No order from now, but video first. Okay, got it.
No, I mean, man, I think my ideas were more of internal, I would say, because like I was gonna say like the top five things I would say is like getting feedback from your team, from your people, from your customers, actually like learning what how their experience is with your brand, with your company, and kind of going from there because you know everyone's different how they engage with your brand, and you know evaluating their experiences and seeing how if their experience is like aligning with your brand strategy, your mission, vision, and values. I think that's what comes into the next thing is where you revisit your brand strategy because that for me that's where it starts. You know, we having those statements and your goals and your objectives like listed out and then revisiting them like after some time, maybe a year later, 6 months later, or even 3 months later if things start kicking up, like do these statements still align? Has things changed? Have you faced new obstacles that cause these things to change? So like kind of revisiting the foundation of like why you started, how you started, and seeing like if you need to pivot from there because like a great example I think for everyone really was when the pandemic happened. Like we all went remote. We all had to pivot how we worked because of the pandemic, and you know it wasn't easy for everyone to like just go out and do their work. Like a lot of us had to go remote. A lot of us had to, you know, meet the health conditions. You know, so kind of revisiting your brand strategy according to the times of like or like the state of the world. You know,
Right.
you know, do they align? And then from there that's where people like where designers like me come in, like upgrade your visual identity. Do you need a soft rebrand? Do you need a hard rebrand? If your mission, vision, and values like have a drastic change, it's definitely time for a rebrand. Or if you have like a change of leadership, definitely a change of definitely a rebrand. And then also kind of checking in like, do you even have a visual identity? And it's not just a logo. I'm going to say that again.
No,
your visual identity is not just a logo.
how many people just ask you for a logo and then later they're like, oh, but I need it for this, I need it for that, I need it for this, like Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Or, like it's a whole branding package. It's not. That's why it takes time. And I really love the fact. Will you go to full screen right now, or maybe go to the you know, go back to full screen, or stop sharing. The
Okay.
I think it's really important that you said that to reflect on what your brand is and to get feedback, whether it's like from clients or employees and employees. Everybody should, you know, let's talk about it. Let's engage with it and then move on from there because your brand is not your because your brand is not what you say it is. Your brand is like what other people think of your brand, right?
Exactly.
Unfortunately and fortunately, you know, but that's what you put out. If I was looking on when you Google Kacha Plumbing, they have like almost 2,000 Google reviews because they put it on their app. When somebody pays, it goes directly to that, and then they can say right then and there, we had a great service, 5 stars or maybe 2 stars or whatever it is. They get automatic feedback, and that is so helpful. Not just because, not just for the company, but also for other people to view. You know, people trust other people versus a company telling them how good they are, right? And so I know we try to do that with video, but with the Google review thing is great. And especially since Google is, you know, we Google things.
Exactly.
The SEO is crazy. And tied into that, YouTube is owned by Google. So they're the second biggest search engine in the world. And that's why YouTube is so powerful. And me included, I've never used it the way I should be using it for myself. Luckily, we do videos and people see them, and our word of mouth just goes pretty far. But
Exactly.
I'm really looking forward to, you know, working again on this and other projects, and I want to let people know that you know, Visual Street Society is going to be a creator magazine that's gonna not only shine light on the creative work and the creators, but also shine light on the companies that are, you know, designing and doing creative work to get more business. It's the new marketing. It's already been the new marketing. But if if you don't have an online presence and you don't have a brand like that, it just makes it harder, right?
Exactly. And that was actually going to be my next point, was to build a digital presence. Like, I don't want to sound old by saying this, but like, we all need to get with the times, or like businesses also should get with the times, and like, not, you don't not feel forced to, but like, however it fits, like, whatever opportunities that you could do to collaborate with content creators or influencers. Having a digital presence also kind of means teaming up and partnering up with like people outside of your expertise, like someone in SEO, someone in social media management, like I said, content creators. And this is where you find those avenues where you could have, branded stories, your reels, maybe have your actual own app, have vlogs, podcasts, and like kind of like just building your presence online, because that's where things are living now. Like, as
well, not just online, but in regular life too, like in print. I mean, I drive by Highway 92 and you see Kacha Plumbing, and they're on the side of the road, and they it's just, you just see that. And you know what they say, that branding, the way it works, or advertising, is like or even sales, it takes 7 times for your brand to be in somebody's face for them to like actually have an action on it. 7 times. So, for any creators out there, for any businesses that think you're just too much and you're patting yourself on the back and you don't want to overwhelm people, or you don't even worry about that. It takes 7 times at least for them to actually know who you are. So after that, then they're gonna go, then they're gonna go check you out and see what your online presence is. I'll Google them and see what they're all about. Do they have videos? Do I want to work with them? Their About Us page. A lot of the times that's left for nothing. They don't even have a picture of the team. That's the online presence thing is huge, and I would love to work with companies more into producing A to Z. Right? Even a brand new company, we can help them get their online presence out there, and that's what's going to help them the most. We don't have to be with them all the time. We just help them with the online presence, and then they can build on that. Right?
Because only stock photos could only live for so long.
Oh man! No, be authentic. Be authentic in everything you do, and it's one brick at a time. I know people want to go viral, but even when you go viral, what are you going to do? Like, what does that really get into? How many Instagrammers that have huge followings, how much do they actually sell whatever products they're doing? It's a funny thing. I don't follow that as much, and there's more opportunities out there, but are they the right opportunities?
Exactly. And I want to follow up with that with my last and 5th point, for brands as a way to freshen up your brand. And I would say engage with the community. That's another way you could actually get yourself out there more, is like get involved with social causes or events that align with your values. It doesn't have to be super serious. It could also be fun. Like, for example, Kacha, like, I know they are out there on the softball fields, with the teams and supporting them, and
they're out there making pancakes with the Lions Club. They have car shows, and they're out there on the weekends with their families. They're in the community, and
all of that family and fun. Really, that doesn't even have to be more complex than that. That is part of their values, and that's what they get involved in, and it's so natural for them. They're not forcing it. So,
and ultimately, that's their brand.
So exactly.
All right, Jackie. So I'm really excited for this. I thank you for joining me. We are meeting every Monday, and Creators Joint will be a section on Visual Street Society magazine. We're going to invite other people and kind of share the same thing, and we just want to help. We'll be on LinkedIn. Jackie, where can people check you out in general?
So you could find me on Instagram at Jackie Espejo, JVCKIE.Espejo, ESPEJO, and then you could also find me on LinkedIn. Just my name, Jackie Espejo. If anything, I would love to connect on those two apps only. And then you could also find my portfolio at JackieEspejo.com.
All right, and my name is Alonzo Orellana, director of Visual Street Films. You just Google Visual Street Films, and we did get a new domain, and I'll tell that story another time, but we had to. And so if you Google Visual Street Films, the actual domain website is visualstreetfilms.com, visualstreetfilms.com. But if you Google or, hit us up on LinkedIn, Alonzo Orellana or Visual Street Films, and I am active. And I think LinkedIn is really important, as well as YouTube. Make your name on YouTube. It's going to go far for many different ways, and we'll get into that later. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Jackie. And
Thank you.
I'll be seeing you next week. Stay tuned.
Yep.
Hey, creators, get at us. Do you have questions? Do you want to be part of Visual Street Society? Do you want to, what we are looking for sure is somebody in the social media world. Because, as much as what we do, we're not experts at it. And so anybody who absolutely loves the social media aspect and having people who can give you videos and photos and graphics and all the things that we do on the creative side, if you're that person, hit us up. We want to let people know about you.
Yes, we do.
All right, until next time, peace.
Until next time, peace.
We'll
Thank
come out
you.
with we'll get a tagline somewhere, the next generation of creators.
Yes.
Later, Jackie.
Thank
Boom.
you. Boom.